down below for a link to our Extra Life page as well as the Heroes Wanted uh, Discord and shows. Without further ado, take it away, Patrick.
Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome everyone to Call from the Deep. I am Patrick. I will be the Dungeon Master for this. I will be creating situations and putting the players through them to see how they respond. Joining me tonight are...
Hello, everyone. I'm Lorne. I'm playing Nith Doris, the Gith Yankee War Wizard, who is kind of tempted to pull out his new telekinesis.
I am Brendan, and I will be playing Old Silver, the CLC captain. Now see here, whippersnapper.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I'll be playing Pavo the Aarakocra Bard and OG Telekinetic.
Hi everyone, I'm Tara, and I should be playing Ishka, the Water Genasi Druid of the Coast, who doesn't bother telekinesis and instead just likes to blast everything with lightning.
And on this floor, you'll find Nabil, that would be me, playing as Scrabheap, a Warforged paladin taking on the Oath of the Open Sea, and now with his newfound spells of Tidal Wave and Call Lightning, oh my god, everyone's gonna die.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris. I will be playing Montauk, Lord of the Summit, Goliath Battlemaster Fighter, and I'm a firing my laser.
Wasting all those...
Nonsense, there are no wasted shots.
I'm Stephanie, and I'll be playing Rubel Devereaux, the Cleric of Umberlee, Pope of the Umbertine Faith, and second Princess of Morays.
In the last session, our party chased a mind flayer through their sunken nautiloid and realized it was a bit of a trap after Pavo had his brains sucked out through the back of his skull, and Montauk found a countdown device that was linked to explosives in the cockpit. But thanks to Old Silver opening up an exterior hatch and Pavo having used some of his magic to blast it outwards, you were all able to escape the explosive radius. You then traveled to Baldur's Gate with Pavo's corpse to get him resurrected in the Temple of Light. It was not cheap, as it cost a hefty donation of gold, as well as the Ven Rune, a magic item you'd been carrying and hadn't really been using, and a 1,000 gold diamond. Racing across the city while you were waiting for this ceremony to take place, some of you were able to find some decent magic items, others were able to pick up some potions, while your ship was also fully restocked. You then boarded the Ocean's Peak and chose to travel to the Purple Rocks, where you would face Slarkathel. Along the way, Rubel also asked her mother for 12,000 gold to try and start Rubel's plan to take over the Church of Umberlee.
Damn right.
And so your travel to the Purple Rocks takes nearly 10 days. Along the way, you only really stop at smaller ports and various locales in the Corin Archipelago and the Whalebones to resupply the peak and to get some basic gear. So you can stock up on anything from the player's handbook up to 100 gold. Make sure you have what you want, because there's no more shopping from here on out. Along the way, you see signs of the fight that's been going on between Neverwinter, Waterdeep, and Luskan's fleets, and the forces of the pirate king Tentrix. There are wrecks, and you see piles of various flotsam and jetsam floating by. But in some cases, you manage to scrounge up some decent items, including a good case of rum and a few more rations. And in the Surly Mermaid, a fairly raucous watering hole at one of these stops, you actually run into your old friend Captain Maggs, now a leader in Never Ember's navy, and she gives you some updates about what's been going on in Neverwinter itself, how there is something known as the Lantern Ghost that has been killing people in the sties, the very poor, old, derelict part of Neverwinter and some of the docks down there. And Pavo, she tells you of the funeral of Lord Tarkay. Nobody's quite sure what happened to him, but from what she's heard, there was barely enough of him to fill a hat box. And to that end, your lady friend is back on the market.
Oh.
In return, you give her the map to Tentrix's lair in the Nelathanthor Isles and expect that the various navies will launch a campaign against that. Ishka, on one of these evenings when you are out walking the deck, you get the gentlest whisper just in your ears of the voice you dislike most, that of the Aboleth Kixaro. And he is just whispering as he always does, but he wants to know, is the pearl safe? I can feel you travel. Do you think it is wise to take it right to the beast himself?
I don't want to talk to this dude. Oh, I just like this dude.
You don't have to answer. You just, every once in a while, every few days, you just get this slightest whisper. But yeah, you don't respond. But as you pass and reach into the northern waters, you also start to feel a different pull at you. Occasionally in your dreams, you frolic with mermaids, and you get the sense that Deep Salacious is pleased with your journey, and she is starting to reach out to you in new ways.
Nice. Yeah, I won't respond to him, but I will pass the information on to the group that he's reaching out to me and what he says to me. But the Deep Salacious stuff I'll keep to myself for now.
All right. And Rubel, you are contacted by the Dread High Trident Abilene of the Church of Umberlee, who is resurrected, and over these weeks, over these 10 days, has been sort of restored to her strength. And she tells you that she is so proud of you, and she is praying for Umberlee's favor for your travels and your trips, and begs you, please keep the armor. It is right that you should have it, and look after the Kraken-Tooth Trident. But that is something she would want back at the end of this adventure. But for now, she prays for you and wishes Umberlee's blessing upon all of you.
I will say, thank you. I pray for you, and I wish Umberlee's blessing upon you as well. I'll return the trident when I can, or after this. I'll say it nicer.
Of course. For the most part, because of this blessing, your journey is surprisingly easy. You sailed through fog for a few days near Landgrave's Folly, but storms have been kept to the horizon, and the winds and tides seem to flow for you. Umberlee, you feel, is pushing you forward to face her former champion. During the journey, Silver, you're pretty sure every once in a while you see the Devil's Fin under the waves, but it never seems to surface or bother. And you're never 100% sure, but you're pretty sure that you've caught sight of it once or twice. And there is a day where hundreds of seabirds land upon the deck and just sit there and squawk. And it takes Pavo, who is also fully recovered from his resurrection, puffing up and screeching at them to finally get them off the deck. But it takes a good 3 days to clean the mess that they leave behind. And Montauk, you lost a large fish that you had on your line while fishing one day, and you were called Slippy for about a 10-day by the rest of the crew, until Utanke burns dinner badly one evening, and you all moved on to joking about that instead. And there is a stretch of nights that all Silver, you're thankful you don't actually need rest, but only to meditate, as your bed, despite the calmness of the water, continually seems to throw you aside and dump you on the floor. And it's after a couple of nights of this that you realize that Pavo has been animating your bed as a way to get back at you for locking him out of your cabin.
Pavo, you've walked the plank for this.
Okay, can I come back after?
Shall I
You can
prepare the
fly, so yes. But
Shall I prepare the keel haul, Captain?
it's so mean.
I've been waiting for us to keel haul someone this whole time.
It's not too late.
Ooh.
We'll take one of these mind flares under the ship. Don't worry.
And so the not yet subsided sea rolled out in long, slow billows of mighty bulk, and striding in the ocean peak's gurgling track, pushed her on like giants' palms outspread. The strong, unstaggering breeze abounded so that sky and air seemed vast, outbellying sails. The whole world boomed before the wind. Muffled in this full morning light, the invisible sun was known only by the spread intensity of her place, where her bayonet rays moved on in stacks, emblazonings as of crowned underwater queens reigned over everything. The sea was as a crucible of molten gold that bubblingly leaps with light and heat. And so, on a hazy afternoon as you pass the Isle of Gunderland where all this began, saluting the long ships, their prows proudly showing seafaring birds or roaring Arctic beasts, you make your way further north until you reach the outskirts of the Purple Rocks. And as you do so, Utanke will come to you, Silver, and remind you that, of the two isles of the Purple Rocks, only one is allowed to visitors. And you will need a reason why you should be allowed to dock there. So he asks what you wish to think of, Captain. And you can give me a straight intelligence check to remember what you would know about the Purple Rocks, as can you, Montauk.
All right.
This multi memory is getting back to me.
Yeah. So sorry. This is a history check.
Yep.
I'm actually
Guidance.
That's an 11.
10.
Yep, guidance. Too late.
12 if that counts.
Sure, and you both know that the Purple Rocks are two islands. There are two separate kings. There have been great sort of battles, but they really, they are known to be great warriors, which is what Montauk, but strange, and they don't worship the same gods as the other northern folk. And Silver, you would know, they don't do a lot of trade except with Gunderland, most famously for like this goat's cheese and some fish as well. But you know that
We talked about this before we passed Gunderland.
Yeah, I would assume. Even as you get to Gunderland, they're only a few miles apart, so it's something you would have to start thinking about at this point. But you generally would know that you'll need a reasonable explanation as to why you should be allowed to dock.
If we are within range of going to Gunderland, we could go to Gunderland. We could venture back to Gunderland and see if we can maybe pick up some fish and whatnot to trade. We still have quite a bit of gold in the hold.
Are we going into a major battle where we all could die?
But sitting there with going there with the gold would be a good way to or with the not to be a good excuse to dock.
Yeah, we're creating a reason for us to actually be there, so they don't go, "Why are you here? Be gone."
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I get it now.
Perhaps we could ask King Red Axe for a better reason than mere fishing.
Right, King Red Axe. We all remember that name.
And you can pull into Gunderlin, and most of their boats are out patrolling. You are recognized and remembered. You are, told some other weird stories that have happened around. They have no fish to trade, and they tell you that the fish stocks have dried up in the region, and they have not had any trade with the Purple Rocks in a while, as the people there have no fish and not even the goat's cheese that they can trade with. They say it is very odd, but because of your also history, they will tell you that, you could go to the Purple Rocks and tell them, if you need to restock supplies or sheltering from a storm or basic ship repairs, they will most assuredly be welcoming.
So supplies is our best bet because our ship does not need repairs, nor will it in the foreseeable future. And I give a hard look at Pavo because I know he would use shatter on the hull just to create the illusion, and we don't want that. And I don't think there's a storm coming anytime soon.
So we hide all of our extra supplies in the hold. Say we're there to restock and rest up for our journey. Where is our journey to, do we tell them?
They will say if you're going to the Purple Rocks, you are only going to be welcome on the southern island of Uthral. Once you go to there, that is the main port there is Vilkstead, and you'll be told visitors are not allowed anywhere else. You are not allowed to go to the northern island. You will have to sneak away if you wish.
What does Montauk know about islands past the Purple Rocks? Like land beyond the Purple Rocks.
There is very little land beyond the Purple Rocks, but that is when you get into the really harsh northern climates and you're out in the trackless sea, and a lot of the, ice folk and things like that are far more hardy. The Purple Rocks are a strange, weird place that, you would have heard tales of just sort of oddities and the fact that they don't seem to worship normal gods.
Right. What about to the west? Like, how far is it till Mastika, basically?
It is quite a ways.
All right. So, and there's nothing beyond that other than the trackless sea.
There are small dots of islands, but no major outposts.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not like we can pretend that we're using them as a way stop on some large expedition to X or whatever.
Well, you can always tell them you're exploring, wherever you want, but they're certainly used to travelers. I mean, you can be heading to further continents out across the ocean and things like that. So,
yeah, I'm just thinking, knowing what little I know about the geography of Tyrell, Karatur is way, way west. Mastika is in the middle, but that's kind of unknown territory. I don't know anything else about the islands to the northwest other than the trackless sea. Yeah, okay. So we could just say we're explorers. Actually, Montauk will just say he's the guard on the ship. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
I don't think they're going to ask Montauk about you specifically.
First mate!
Montauk is first mate.
Montauk and Ishka are both first mate.
I thought he was a guard. He just said he was a guard.
That is not how first works.
Ishka will take it. She's happy to be your first mate.
Co-first mate.
How are we going to get away from them? That's the good question. Ishka, could you prepare, what's the name of the spell? Pass out, Trace.
I always have that prepared as default, so yes.
Full. Sneak out of whatever quarters they give us on the island.
Assuming they give us quarters on the island, they may ask us to stay on the boat, in which case, slightly easier.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, none of these words that Nithdoris has been speaking actually come from his mouth.
Yeah, we're rocking now.
But because he wears a mask, no one notices this.
Oh, we notice things happening in our mind instead of our ears.
Yeah, but if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't notice. Except for the fact that, the two Hitozi can't hear a damn thing I'm saying. But Luth can, which is weird, because he's all the way across the deck.
You included Luth, but
And you can finally hear what Luth thinks, and it is not pretty.
Well, I'm
the
sure
thing
he
is,
thinks good things of Ishka.
I can do
he
up
does.
to 8 creatures.
I don't think
So
Luth
if we
likes,
have someone on our ship, we can say, "Oh shit, things have gone south. Get ready to leave." And by the time we're on deck, we're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Montauk has a thought on this. When we leave, the boat should also leave. Where shall we rendezvous? And should we take a lunch?
A
we
lunch?
could always pack lunch.
Yeah, I like lunch.
That's
Mhm.
easy.
Montauk is not in the mood for joking now.
So the
Never
more of a
joke
boss-
about lunch.
What boat shall we pack lunch onto?
We
Or
only
shall
have
we
the one
simply
boat,
walk
right?
across the bottom of the waves?
Yeah, we definitely probably should swim. Like we can all traverse underwater fairly easily.
But where shall the ocean's peak meet us?
A mile, 2 miles east of Purple Rocks.
That is still within sight of shore.
Well, okay. I assumed that when on our way in, we'd be able to find some sort of place that would be sheltered from sight, at least from the landmass, that would allow us to park the ship and reconnect with it later.
How good are our maps, Patrick?
Your maps are very good.
Okay. So we're up on the
Top left corner.
top left corner. Ooh.
The Purple Rocks.
Sorry, you would know Turin is up northwest.
Yeah, Turin. So if pressed, we could say we're heading to Turin.
What's the scale of this map?
Each one of these hexes is 24 miles.
Yeah.
So you can, in one day, you can take 2 of them, basically. So you're still a ways away.
Because here's the thing: if we're getting off somewhere in Vilkstead here, and we're not ever going up to Trisk or Utheral, we're not going up to. We might be going up to Trisk or Askarl or something, but we have to basically send the boat away. I don't know where the boat can go.
That tiny piece of land right there.
You
That-
would, if
that's
you're
still
asking
24.
people if you're asking anyone within Gunderland, they have a pretty good navy out of the Purple Rocks with their longboats. So they would not suggest if they would suggest if you're going to send your boat away, send it away.
Don't have it hang
Or-
around.
All right. Montauk says casters of spells.
Yes.
You can speak to someone across the world, yes? You can call the boat back if need be.
Yes. I don't typically have it prepared, but if we wait 24 hours, yes.
we may have to do so.
Have it prepared?
Well, it's going to take us a few days to get there. So we have time to prepare for that.
Montauk can survive a few days on any island. This shall suffice.
The question isn't whether we'll survive on the island, it's whether we'll be caught surviving on the island. And that's the problem.
Do I see any mountains on these islands?
Yes. Most of the purple rocks are mountainous. Here, let me show you a proper map.
Are they like volcanic mountainous, or is it just shifting of plates that cause them to rise from the ocean?
No sign of volcanic activity.
Yeah, if these are mountains, Montauk is absolutely confident in his ability to survive here.
I'm fairly confident in our ability to keep us hidden, providing I keep Cast Without Trace up.
The only thing
Yeah, we should be able to hide easily enough.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
What happens if they catch us?
Blood mist.
You do have weapons, yes?
So fly away, got it.
And thank you to Charlie from the Ghosts of Saltmarsh Discord for this map. It was much nicer than the one I made.
It is a nice map.
Very nice.
It
It's
looks
a
like it was built with Incarnate.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie, for this really terrifying map.
Hey, Charlie bit my
Charlie.
finger.
It does look a bit foreboding, which is good because it's thematic.
Hey, Montauk sees a bunch of peaks, and he's all for this. He's like, "Yep, I'm at home. I know how to get up that one. I know how to get up that one. That one I could figure it out, but shouldn't be too hard. I've climbed taller. If he can climb to the peak of the Ice Rim Mountains, he can handle these things."
They are really, 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 really sharp-looking peaks.
And your point?
Okay, never mind.
We don't have to go like over the top of them. We can skirt their bases. Yeah, is there anything else we need to consider? Because I mean, we'll have enough time to prepare. It's just a matter of making sure we have supplies before we leave.
I mean, how are we starting out over here then?
You know that you'd be welcomed to Vilkstead, which is on the very eastern tip of Utheral, and a few of the men from Gunderland would know that, like, the main encampment on Trisk is at the very southern end. And that's about it. No one's actually ever been to Trisk. They just sort of, when they've skirted past on the south, they know there is an encampment there. But visitors are only ever allowed on Utheral. You know, there are ruins scattered across both islands from the societies that have been there, and then the battles that the warriors have had over the years. And they'll tell you that the Rocklanders on Utheral and that they speak this weird guttural language that sounds like somebody choking.
Activating Helm of Comprehend Language?
Would it be like Primordial or Terran?
They don't know what those languages sound like, so they just shake their head.
Would they be able to reproduce some of the sounds enough that even though I don't necessarily know the language, I might have heard some of it in passing and be able to... Oh, well, there's that too.
If anything like that.
They make some sounds, but yeah, it does not sound like any primordial language to you.
What about to me?
No, they're not actually able to reproduce any proper language, so comprehending languages doesn't twig anything with you. But yeah, it does not. Until you hear it properly, you wouldn't be able to place it.
So it's the
Maybe-
equivalency of someone who's trying to imitate French by going, oh,
Pretty much. And yeah, they speak a unique dialect of this specific language. So, but it does not sound like a primordial language to you.
Does it maybe
Huh.
sound like deep speech?
You'd have to hear it to make a real sense of it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to figure this out until we actually get there now.
Oops.
So there's another note to make to have comprehend languages ready.
We have his helm.
yeah. We have the translator matrix in Scrappy.
I just need to activate it every hour, so I'm perpetually just tapping my head, activating the thing every minute.
Yeah.
Every
And
hour.
Dude,
so,
we're days away. Stop that.
yeah, so I mean, over the next few days, because it is a new tool in my arsenal, I am casting Rary's telepathic bond just so everyone gets used to the ability to communicate silently, because I can put it up constantly. It lasts for an hour, and it means that we have silent contact with one another,
So
which is
does that?
awesome.
So what's the range for everyone to be able to hear each
You
other?
have to be on the same plane of existence.
Otherwise, there's
Unlimited.
no.
Awesome.
So, okay, when I cast it, you have to be within 30 feet of me and one of 8 creatures that willingly accepts it. After that, as long as you're on the same plane, you can contact them at any range.
Does Montauk accept it willingly?
Montauk probably Montauk probably would not. Okay, here's the thing. Montauk accepting this willingly is not the same as Montauk requesting it. It's also not the same thing as Montauk. Like, if somebody is going to cast a friendly spell on Montauk, there is no cost to him of refusal, like there or of acceptance, right?
And I did, inform everyone that had this spell and the benefits that it could provide, especially in combat where we could strategize and work together without our enemies knowing, oh, hey, I'm going to get behind him so that you can pull off this cool move.
Montauk introduces Nithdoris to the concept of hand signals.
Yeah, but this is so much
You
faster
need to
than,
see people for
than
hand signals.
you showing off your sign language.
I mean, it turns out that it's just a constant stream of I get knocked down, but I get up again. You ain't ever gonna knock me down.
Oh, you,
I
you
can
don't have to
choose not to
transmit-
include you.
You don't have to
Yeah,
transmit
after the
every
first
thought.
time.
I'm going to drown you out with worship on Umberlee, praise her, and a whole bunch of different prayers.
Yeah, Loof
Yeah.
stopped accepting it.
Yeah, Montauk is very much now not going to accept this.
Oh
This is
yeah,
not
I'm
gonna
I'm
move.
Oh, this
block.
doesn't happen until after the first time. So it happens at least once if he's
So-
trying.
We'll behave. We're just fooling around.
So when the telepathic link is active, so does that mean when I activate my helmet of comprehending languages, everybody would be able to understand what I hear?
No, but you could translate through your mind almost immediately.
Oh, cool. Instant translator.
There is the spell.
There's also a weird sort of electronic screech,
Oh.
which sounds like a fax machine when Scrap Heap transmits.
Rary's is
Yeah.
only an hour, okay.
Yeah, the thing is, though, you don't even have to be able to speak the same language.
Oh, it's only an hour. I was gonna wait
So
till
it's
the middle of the
perfect
night.
translation for anybody we meet if they're willing.
Yes.
I have scrying
I have
as a class
augury.
spell.
I don't know if augury would help us here right now.
I have crying as a racial.
Depends what you
Brian-
want to ask with your
yeah.
augury.
Like
got
with augury, we could ask if we're going about the right method of infiltrating, or because it's all yes or no questions. So anything you ask is basically a yes, it's good, or no, it's bad, or it could be either way.
I have locate creature.
I mean, and plus it's a ritual spell for augury, so but after one time it just the reliability just goes down after that. So I mean, if there's anything we should be asking now, I think it should be now.
Augury. The like, does that have like a limit for like, you can ask about an event that's going to happen in like 6 years.
Yeah,
Like, is that-
basically.
No,
just,
it's a specific course of action within the next half hour.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and what does that say? There is a chance, cumulative 20% chance for each casting. Yeah. I mean, the first spell is 100% accurate. It's just 25% less after that.
And you don't know if it's been accurate or not after that.
Yep.
What?
When do you want to try scrying, Ishka?
40 times in a row.
Haha, no. Once we get to Gunderland and we're on our way to the Purple Rocks, I think that would be the best, because we're basically on the final leg of the journey. It's still going to take us a couple days, but I figured like a day or two out from Gunderland, I'll try scrying on the Mind Flayers and see how it goes. Because then hopefully, if they catch us, like we still have time to like change course and try and put them at a sense of false ease before we come back to it. Does that make sense?
Yep. Which one are you going to try and scry on?
The not friendly one, like not the guy who helped us with the creepy thing that ate Pavo. Not that one, the other guy.
The one you saw in the undersea craft.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else you guys wish to do before you depart?
We are in Gunderland. Montauk is feeling a little antsy. This is going to be, another week's journey to get to the Purple Rocks.
Probably 3 days at the rate you've been traveling with Umberlee's seeming help.
Yep. Okay. He is in Gunderland. We've got about a day here before we have to leave. Montauk hasn't done this in a while. As if we're going to be hitting a tavern or something on our last night, Montauk is going to be looking to see if there's like a fighting cage around here.
One more carousing?
Not carousing.
There isn't an actual fighting cage, but with all of the warriors here, you would easily be able to find someone to fight you in sort of ceremonial combat.
All right. Yep.
Montauk's got to go find a date.
One last roll in the hay before death.
Is that what roll in the hay
To
means?
die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, carousing of a sort, not a week's worth of it, but one final night of like drinking and fighting worthy opponents and stuff.
That
before.
D100 we've been using pretty much every one is a one night thing.
Yeah, except carousing is a week.
Yeah.
All right. So, if you want to fight, you can start off by giving me a strength athletics check. And the DC is 2d10 plus 5. So the first DC is a 20.
All right. No problem.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you have you have this huge flagon of drink. You wrestle one of the first people that steps forward. You immediately sort of put them down, and that gets one of the larger, folks sort of interested. But the first one up is actually this wiry, sort of, bearded, long braided gentleman who, is quick and is trying to sort of move around you and strike at you and bring you down by taking out your legs. So next, give me a dexterity acrobatics check. DC is 18.
Ooh, nope. He got my legs out from under me.
Yeah, he manages to take your legs down and sort of roll you up and lock you up. And people start sort of cheering and laughing. And now, things get a little bit serious. And so next, give me a constitution check. You also get to roll a hit die to add to it.
Ooh, okay, 25.
Oof. So yeah, this basically has to be double 10s for this to work. Oh yeah, this last one, you get mad that this squirrely guy took you down, and you remember how sort of Nithdoris sort of won some of the arm wrestling, and yeah, this next one, you just crush them into the ground. They're about an inch taller than you, but you just pick them up, pile drive them down through the ground, and there is laughter and cheering and drinking that goes on through the evening. Oh yeah, they got some big Viking boys here.
Mm.
Ooh.
Well, I guess Pablo will start up the music.
Yeah,
Someone will bring him the drinks.
Yeah, and as this seems like the sort of good fun that these Gunderlanders like. So having suddenly made a whole bunch of friends, Montauk will start regaling his exploits to the crowd.
And you are met back with people who tell you tales of their father fighting bears, and someone who was swallowed by a whale, and someone shows you where like a shark sort of bit into them and how they sort of fought it off. So yeah, so the rest of the evening is spent tales rocketing back and forth. Pablo, you realize that you're playing music, but as much of you has returned, it's not quite up to your usual standards, but people don't seem to mind.
And that's to that. Then about halfway through, I'll go find something to drink.
All right. Yeah. Ishka dances as a bear, and some of the, locals join her. One of them transforms into, sort of their half were shark and kind of surprises everybody. But this is just a celebration overnight. Is there anything else specifically anybody wants to do on your final night of drinking?
You know what I want to do.
I have handcuffed him to Scrap Heap, so he cannot.
No, I have gotten away.
Yeah, no, there is. You can drink, but you're not gonna be able to do a full thing of carousing.
I finally rolled 100.
Finally rolled 100
on the wall.
That's impressive.
Which is roll
That
twice.
is impressive.
Roll twice.
Oh,
DM
God.
comes up with monstrous combination of the two.
Let's see what happens.
Ooh, what happens?
We got to. So 21 and 94, which is also quite high.
You wake up in bed in an unfamiliar inn. The stranger next to you is
Took your kidneys.
unspeakably hideous.
At 94, as you wake up in the communal lodge of an esoteric order, the room is full of burned out candles. There's a pen in your hand and a note, but the handwriting isn't yours. It's a letter to you from a long dead friend or relative, detailing fond memories or talking about how well or poorly you were doing carrying on the family legacy.
So an old friend of yours died. A friend of theirs came to inform you, and you hooked up with them?
Pretty much.
I guess so, yeah.
I would like to write a series of journals, basically telling of what we did and what we plan to do, and mail it off to the Brotherhood.
All right. Yeah, it is. You hand it off to one of the ship's captains, and they promise you for all of your, work that you have done for this society, they will guarantee they see it delivered for you.
No rush. Just the next ship that's going in that direction to please carry it.
Yeah, they're just drunk, and they basically just make this heroic promise to you that they will, do this for you. It's a little overbearing, but
Hearts are in the right place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Old Silver would like to sort of go out to the dock, like get a couple of mugs of ale, go out to the docks, and just sort of drink while looking at the sea.
And as you do that, you are joined by, Utanke, who sits next to you and just says, "Captain, do you believe you will come back to the Ocean's Peak?"
Oh no, but if none of us make it back, make sure you all get out of here alive.
Praise Umberly.
I will look after her for you, Captain. If none of you come back, well, frankly, only if you don't come back, I don't see the ship passing into anybody else's hands. We will make sure that the Ocean's Peak survives.
If you ever see Testane, kill him for me. Or at
If
least
you
give him...
wish such a thing, then I wish such a thing, Captain.
And we drink together.
Yeah, and Fomamu joins you, as does Luth, and as proper sailors and crew, they they sing a few shanties with you through the night, and you all cheers to the ship, and they swear they will get Testane or Callus for you if you are unable to. And with that, morning comes. You set sail. Ishka.
Yes.
You lay down your items, and how do you prepare scrying on the face that you have seen of this illithid?
I will ask our local cleric to bless some holy water, and I will have secured a font, a small, portable font while in town, and I will use that for the scrying.
Hashtag bless.
So a bucket, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We have buckets on the ship.
You are on the ship. You are currently sailing towards
We have
the Purple Rocks, and this is when Ishka wished to cast this spell.
Yeah, I don't
so yeah.
think we have a crystal ball or a silver mirror. And I just feel that the font with holy water would be the easiest to come up with if something happens to either the other two.
Oh!
'Cause-
Pablo will pull out his pack and hand you. Where is it here? Because we got this on that big ass crystal from the astral plane.
Yeah, it's not
Use
a crystal ball though. Appreciate it, but yeah, we'll stick with the font filled with holy water.
And with this, bucket of water, you see as you cast your spell into it, the skies above you are sort of dark and cloudy. And as you look out towards the islands, you can see they are just sort of covered in this seemingly permanent purple dark cloud. And your reflection ripples in the water as you reach through and try and push through. What's your DC?
17.
And the water just remains clear. You push through, and you get a fuzzy sort of outline, and then the image in it just fades almost immediately.
Blood and damnation.
They rolled a 17.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm willing to try again. No, it's just limitations on spell slots, right? That's how many times I can cast it.
If something that is succeeds in the save is immune to it for the next 24 hours.
Damn. All right, let's try again tomorrow then.
Okay.
It's also a 5th level spell slot.
Yeah, so I'll have
Which
to.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
only
So you
have
guys.
the one.
All right. So anything else you guys wish to do on this day?
Did
Did-
Ishka take oh, what's the one that you were talking about before? The element the one for affecting earth or stone.
Oh,
Transmute stone?
the trans. Yeah, I have it. I can prepare it, so I can prepare it like the morning we land, kind of thing.
But what about crystal ball? Rock?
It's
Same thing.
non-magical rock of any sort, and can turn into mud. I don't know if that would work. Would that work?
Oh, it just turns into mud. You can't shape
Yeah.
it.
No.
Shapestone or something like that would work.
Or
anyone who has tools might be able to do it.
Mhm.
Transmute rock is all about like collapsing ceilings on things and like making mudslides happen.
Too bad.
I do have
Or
stone
forming
shape.
an opening in
Yeah,
a
you can
wall.
stone shape it then.
Yeah. Okay. I'll like one of our because like, we're just gonna be sailing for a couple days, so I'll have to prepare it. So I'll do that tomorrow after the scrying, so we have an extra focus.
What's the price on a normal crystal ball? Because this one would be worth 300 because that's what the crystal's worth.
Oh, then it wouldn't be if we're doing this for scrying. It wouldn't be good for scrying because it's like a focus worth at least 1,000 gold, such as a crystal ball, a silver mirror, or a font
Oh.
filled with holy water. So yeah,
Damn.
good idea, but yeah.
All right.
During the trip up to Gunderland and on this final leg, Montauk's gonna get a bunch of like leather cords that he just kind of scrounges up from wherever, and he's gonna braid himself a sling for the rifle.
All right. Easy enough to do.
Stop taking my slings.
Also,
Why are you making a sling out of slings?
I have to ask, what was Luth's reaction waking up to like Ishka Bear beside him?
You notice he is actually kind of comfortable and just sort of smiles and has spent most of the day kind of whistling and flashing looks at you every once in a while.
No.
Damn.
You're gonna
See,
break his heart when we all die.
Yeah, he's like I've adopted him. Yes, totally. He's like my little buddy. That's crap. Whoops.
Extended mixed signals.
Yeah, I wasn't intending to do that. Oh well.
Well, you're going to friend zone him now, huh?
I wasn't trying to do anything but friend zone him.
Do you all have telepathy? No.
I technically
you
do.
You don't get the sense that he has any amorous intentions, but
Okay, good.
he's not displeased.
Okay. I feel really bad.
So the next day, you get more holy water and attempt to scry again. The clouds have really darkened, and you can see sort of lightning blasting down into the rocks above the islands.
But before we started, did we have anything that used to belong to them?
Shield once upon a time, but not.
You took my shield away and got it stolen, so no.
Montauk holds up the laser rifle.
That might work.
Yeah.
May we borrow it to attempt to spy on them using magic, Montauk?
Will it cost Montauk his new fancy gun?
For all of, 10, 20 minutes? And then you will get it back in fully working order.
Then the spellcasters can do what they wish.
Given an item that used to belong to the individual, it grants better insight into the individual.
Montauk does not need to know the details.
Montauk is like, I don't care. Just do your magic thing. Give me a gun back.
I wonder how much information we're going to glean from this, because I would assume if they're talking telepathically.
But we might learn something about the location, something tactical. You never know.
All right. So using the weapon, and again, infusing your magical energy into the water and this bucket, the movement of the boat just sort of stops for you as you stare down into the water. And your
What do I see?
vision changes. Your reflection vanishes, and you see almost a bright sheen come out of this water. You find yourself staring at this creature still with its helmets and this weird sort of tubing that leads into its body, but it is in this brightly reflective chamber of some sort. You recognize what would be a tool bench of sorts in front of it, but you don't recognize any of these tools. And I mean, there's no sound other than this weird sort of, metallic and machine-like thrum that you recognize from your time in the astral sea coming from this space. And you see, it picking up these tools and then moving and walking, and you see it walking up to what appears to be a suit of armor, but as your vision around it sort of turns and watches, you can see it just goes up and up. And this suit of armor looks like it's about the size maybe of an orc or an ogre. It is just massive. And you see, as he is working on it, the back of it just opens up, and you can see that a humanoid creature could actually step inside and operate this armor. And you watch him sort of work on this and move around it for, the next 10 minutes.
Okay, then. Blood and damnation. Okay, I'm going to spy on the buddy tomorrow. But I'm just going to watch him for the full time allotted to me for the scrying spell. And he's not giving any indication that he's noticing me peeping on him, right?
Not at all.
Perfect. Okay. So, once the connection breaks, Ishka is just going to kind of startle and straighten up his eyes wide and just mouth kind of agape and just kind of look around everyone and just be like, he's making a mechanical suit of armor that's as big as an ogre.
Dibs.
Does anyone here? And it looks it looked like astral plane kind of stuff, right? Like technology, basically.
Yes. Though, I mean, the suit itself looked like a composite of metals you would recognize, but the space he was in, yeah, it felt like back in the undersea craft that you've seen, or the crashed vessels, that kind of thing.
Okay, I'm not so the suit's gonna be a pain in the butt, but if it looks like it's made from materials from our plane, I'm not overly concerned about it. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, but I think we can do it. But so he's building a mech, guys.
Sword armor.
Metal can't be rent or broken.
Yeah, but it's
Or
made with
shattered.
astral plane technology.
It will be a challenge to crack that egg, but we should get inside it without too much trouble.
I can't do anything more with this today, but tomorrow I'll check in on the other one and see if I can get any more information from him.
All right, yeah. And this will be early in the morning as you are rapidly approaching the island.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else anybody wants to do for this day or the very early morning before you guys arrive at Utheral.
I would be scheduling a telepathic bond to begin just as we're pulling into port.
All right.
I will, I will contact my mother again with sending. I'll say, Mom, I'm heading into battle. You might not hear. Hold on. Won't be talking much. I love you and Dad and sister.
Oh, daughter, I love you. Take care. Please come back to us.
Of course, I will bring glory to the family and to Umberlee.
You have always been a beacon of pride for this family.
Oh, my mama loves me now.
She lied for you.
Shut up.
You better live. I want grandchildren.
What about Marielle?
I want many grandchildren. Don't you push all that responsibility on your sister.
Okay, I promise.
I have met a dashing young prince from one of the neighboring kingdoms.
Who?
Oh, you'll meet them very soon, but they are the grandnephew of Lord Barafet. This is delightful son. Spent some time already out exploring. Very devout worshipper of, Salacious, not Humberlee, but, open, and I believe we can convert him.
Ooh, and if we convert him, where was he from? Out of character.
Out of character, he's just from one of the other undersea kingdoms.
Oh, if I can convert him with my skills, I can convert his whole kingdom.
Indeed.
Alright, I promise I will return. Love you.
All right. Love you. And with that, you set up your bucket again and stare into the water, this time thinking and pushing through for a vision of this scarred illithid that you saw with the armor and the massive sword. Unfortunately, you are not able to push through and see anything.
Damn it. Well, if we want, I'll keep trying every morning until we can catch this other guy and see what he's doing.
And as this ends, Nithdoris, you can see, as can the rest of you, headed toward you as a wooden longship with a prow carved to resemble a squid-like creature, which by now most of you recognize as probably a kraken. The burly men who crew the boat look sullen and not aggressive as they move towards you. And as the ship cuts through the waves and draws close to you, you see a man, long, sort of lanky, greasy-looking hair, heads to the prow and beckons you closer. And as the ship pulls up, near to yours, you can see this young man's skin seems almost loose around his face. And it's showing sort of the pink waterline beneath his bulging eyes. And as soon as you are in earshot, he yells out across at you, "Why you come to Purple Rocks? What brings you to our shores?"
And Montauk will look at Old Silver.
Captain?
And we mentally prod that, the reasons we came up with the other day are still valuable. We want to restock as we're planning an excursion to the north.
Also,
Yes,
there's a storm coming.
we're explorers and we're looking to restock here before we continue our journeys elsewhere.
He nods and just says, "You will follow us to Uthral. You will not deviate from your course. You will come to Vilkstead. You can resupply. Understood?"
Aye.
And with that, the rowers quickly and surprisingly easily rotate their ship, even in these sort of roiling waters, and you are brought into the docks at Vilkstead. And the light as you pull in, even during this morning sort of daytime light, is purple hued due to the clouds overhead. But you are welcomed. The ship you are on, we'll have to drop anchor and you guys can come forth in a jolly boat. You are able to, easily move ahead. You do notice there are smaller fishing vessels as you pull in, but the nets that these fishermen are pulling out all seem to be empty. You don't see any real fish that are being caught here. And with that, as you pull into this sort of open bay, for the first time in a couple of days, the northern winds, known to you, Montauk, as Arl's breath, is finally sort of sheltered by the high cliffs that circle around this harbor. And you can see there are more kraken-headed longships and dozens of these small fishing vessels all in here. And then as you pull in sort of on these rotting piers, you can see small groups of the male Rocklanders sit sort of fishing off the edge of them with long rods and crabbing lines, and but none of them seem to be having a ton of success. And you are met by this very tall young Rocklander that came out to you on the ships. And as he gets nearer to you, you can pick up this sort of unpleasant smell. It's like a mix of fish and sulfur. And up close, you can see his skin almost seems sort of loose and kind of rubbery, and his eyes are a little rheumy. And he curtly tells you that you are to follow him to come visit King Frannis. And then you will be made welcome.
King Frannis.
Would I know anything, being a fellow royal, would I know anything about this guy?
No. You would know the name, but you would know they don't deal with outside interests barely at all, except for some trade with Gunderland. They are very insular. And Nithdoris, as you are sort of watching on the docks, you see one of the fishermen suddenly begins choking and spluttering, this sort of sickening squelching noise coming out of him. And after a few retches, he coughs up a live eel that flops around in the pool of like regurgitated slime out on the pier. And one of the other men here quickly whacks the eels overhead with a wooden cudgel, and you see it slung into their keep net. Give me a charisma saving throw from this odd event.
Who, everyone?
Just Nithdoris. Yeah, you are sort of disturbed by this oddity, but you are able to sort of hold your composure, and you are all, walked through Vilkstead. You can see that, I mean, it's a fishing settlement of slate roofed shacks, a few thatched longhouses that have seen better days. And as you move through towns, you see these large granite, clearly shaped stones that, as people walk past, will stop and put their hands against, and they seem to get some sort of jolt of energy or resolve from them, as if they are praying to them.
Does this remind me of anything? Anything I know might know about?
I think they're fairly recognizable as that. It looks like they are praying, and they use these stones to be some type of shrines.
Stones look like anything that I might recognize as more.
They look like just standing stones.
There's no they're not carved into anything in particular. They're just there.
They are almost carved, if at all. There's no decoration on them. They look like, sort of larger gravestones, if anything else, just very simple, very plain, carved into rectangular or oblong shapes. But yeah, like no symbols of what they are worshiping or anything else. But yeah, they just clearly, you get the sense that they are shrines of some sort.
Patrick, the young man who is leading us along, he has sort of a very pale, clammy complexion.
Yep, greasy hair. And as you walk through the town, Ishka, you would notice, as well as Montauk and Rubel as well. So do most of the other men here. And all you've really noticed as you walk through town are young or middle-aged men. No women, no children. And they all look sort of loose-skinned, weather-beaten or scarred, and yeah, they don't look healthy.
Mm.
Oh, women? Damn. So no women, no children, it's just all dudes.
That you can see openly. Whether there are either of them here in the village, you don't know, but you do not see or pick up any sight of them as you are walked through town up to the crumbling edifice that sort of leers over the harbor from the high northern cliffs that they refer to as Vilkstead Castle, but really it looks like it is a very beaten and battered fort.
Quick question before we go into the fort. As we were being led through the town, we didn't see any women or children. Did we hear any feminine voices or any kids from inside the homes?
Not passively. You can give me an active perception check if you'd like to try and pick something like that up.
Yeah, because it would be one thing if they're all just kind of tucked away. I'm going to guidance myself if I can as well, by the way. Yeah, if they're just it kind of makes sense. Hey, strangers, everyone just kind of tuck away and hide until we figure out what's up. But if I don't even hear a baby crying or a woman telling her kids to shut up because she's making dinner, that's going to make me
Or a toy
super
that got
sus.
left behind.
Yeah, you see no sign of toys or anything like that. You do catch the occasional female face before it sort of pulls away behind a curtain or a window.
Okay.
But that is about it.
Okay, I'm not so sussy now. It's just okay, they're telling their families to stay hidden out of prudence. Got it.
Does Montauk hear any as we're being walked towards the castle here, the quote unquote castle, does Montauk see any signs of livestock?
No, you see empty pens, and you've heard that they raise goats here, and they trade goat's cheese through Gunderland, but all of the animal pens you see here are empty.
So no livestock. I don't hear any livestock. No chickens, just empty goat pens.
Yep.
Yeah. That's something I think that Montauk has been in civilization for a couple of years now. He notices that there's animals everywhere when you're in the city.
Well, I would also assume that you're part of a nomadic tribe that has some animals,
Yep.
and you know the care that would be required for them.
Yeah.
This is odd.
Yeah, mostly mountain goats, but the fact that there's not even chickens, that's kind of terrifying.
Did
It's
they eat them all after the fish disappeared?
Yeah, Montauk will point out through the bond to everyone else, no livestock.
That is not good.
I mean, we do know there are problems with people catching fish in and around here, but we seem to know what the reason for that is. At least we assume we know what it is. So, would they have killed them all and still stay here, though? That makes no sense.
They could have hidden them away with their women and children, for all we know.
I mean,
I agree, it's suspicious, it's highly unlikely, but if
Is
they've
there
hidden
poop
their
in the street?
families, they may have hidden their livestock as well.
if they hit their livestock, then the question comes up: from what? That you have to hide everything.
Maybe they're too terrified.
Hiding the families from us makes sense. Hiding the livestock, not as much.
Well,
I
looking
agree,
in the
I'm just saying it
street,
is a possibility.
is there fresh droppings from animals on the streets where they would likely travel if they were moving them or selling them or riding them?
So you're trying to find Scatman?
Just we're following the guy.
Give me a perception check, or investigation if you want to actually stop, but they're not going to allow you to stop.
No,
you're
they're
you're
not.
you're kind of being marched. Yeah, so give me a perception check.
While he's looking for that,
Nope.
I want to look more to the skies. Are there any nautical birds that would normally be in this environment?
No seabirds, nothing. And yeah, you don't pick up any signs of scat or animal footprints or anything, Pavo.
I wonder why.
This is not good.
So, upon listening to what Montauk said about no livestock, I activate my divine sense. Anything?
Yeah, you do not pick up anything of that sort within your presence.
Huh.
You stretch out your senses. Nothing comes back as, evil or undead or fiendish. But this place looks sort of battered and. Give me an insight check, Scrap Heap.
I was just going to ask that if I could use my insight. Ah, crap.
Yeah, these people look unwell and bereft of anything else. I mean, you've been around, humanoids, and they just don't look as healthy or as well as other humanoids you've seen. They look like they might, maybe they're starving.
Is there... Okay, are they... I mean, am I able to hear anything, even a whisper, even a mumble, anything? Like... Yeah, anything like that, like a speech?
You hear, basic sort of chatter and, talk. And again, yeah, it sounds like this weird coughing language that when you twig on and use your comprehend languages, it is a very odd form of deep speech that is understandable to you, but almost still garbled. You can, even with the comprehend languages, it's very hard to pick out what they're saying. And most of them, you can just see them eyeing you and sort of muttering to themselves about, strangers and visitors and things like that.
Am I able to tell if they're looking at anyone in particular in the group or just everyone in general? Oddly.
Yeah, no, they seem to just be talking about the entire group of you.
Okay. Huh.
And by this time, you are led up to Vilkstead Castle. It is, once you make it back up these sort of cliffs to the north, you're once again whipped by this, frigid northern wind. And you see, parts of the walls have sort of crumbled away. There have been some half-hearted sort of repair jobs and patchwork done here over the years. But as you get sort of closer to the gates, the wind moans and whistles throughout this space. And on top of that, you hear this just incessant crashing of waves against the coastline below you. Which reminds me, I haven't turned on the music for this.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, just I'll use, usually I'll do like Fishing Village or whatever it is. But I just realized we haven't been doing any of that. And you are, led into the fort through this sort of dilapidated gateway, guarded by a couple of, again, large, muscular, but clearly sort of loose-skinned and rheumy-eyed guards, and led, through into the more habitable parts of the castle. And you are, escorted and led down this, long hallway. You see in front of you a round chamber, and then out of one of the side doors, you see being led a bound man being led in front of you by 3 of these guards. And as you watch, they are brought into this round chamber, and you see, torches are lit up, and you see that there is a large hole in the center of the floor, and this person is brought directly over and dropped through this hole.
Damn.
And
Did it look like he was fighting it at all, or was he very accepting?
he was very passive, but you do hear a scream as he falls, and then a large eventual splash. And then the guards, sort of separate out, and you see on one far side of the room, it's all being overseen by this figure wearing black, sort of head to toe, and covered with like a lacy veil. But they pay you no mind as you are escorted into what is clearly the larger throne room area, and you are brought in, and you are introduced to the great Sea King Frannis, leader of, the encampment, head of Utheral, and you see before you a thin, gaunt man whose mouth sort of hangs open, revealing like rows of repulsive kind of brown teeth. And he stands and, "Welcome to Utheral. Allow me to offer you the guest rights of any visitor coming to our abode. You are welcome to spend time here. We will give you boarding, feed you as we can." And he, shakes each of your hands in turn, and you can just feel it is just cold and kind of clammy.
And as he shakes my hand, Montauk is going to spend some time, grip his hand, and try to figure out if what his strength score is. If he's unnaturally strong, or if he is in fact a frail old man.
He has a fairly good, strong handshake, despite his demeanor. I mean, you've seen elderly leaders of tribal warriors and these kinds of things, and he fits into that mode. You can tell there is still strength within him.
Okay.
So what's his strength score?
Well, no, it's only like equal, below. I'm guessing that.
It would be inferior. Oh, you get to know 2 of those.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hit.
I guess Constitution.
All right.
Just to get a sense. Actually, no. Total class levels.
Basically, is he a spellcaster?
Yeah. Total class level. You get the sense that.
How much worldly experience does this man have?
He has a fair amount. You would assume he has at least 12 class levels. And his strength score is below yours.
Okay. Just as a general impression, we did spend a couple of minutes with that young, thin youth that looked like he had skin falling off of him.
Yep.
Did his strength score seem like unnaturally high?
No, his strength score was below yours as well.
Okay, cool. That's the sort of thing that I was looking for. I'm just trying to sort of get a sense of these people. I'm like, do any of them look like they could take any of us in a fight?
They all look reasonably tough, but one-on-one, you're not sure. But in groups, it could be tough.
Yeah, okay. Good to know.
And Tara, you notice this person in black, sort of walk up behind the group and just listen at the door. And you can clearly see with your passive perception, just sort of a nervousness and sort of a cold sweat on Frannis as this occurs. But he continues sort of welcoming you, asking you what you're here for, and upon learning that you're here to resupply your ship, say you are welcome to stay as long as you need, but you cannot leave Utheral. Do not leave Vilkstead. You are guests here, but please do not abuse the privilege.
While he's talking, I'll use the bond to let everyone know that there is a cloaked and shadowed figure behind us that is making the king very nervous.
I'll also use the telepathic bond to go, Miss Doris, does the king look like he's under some sort of mind control?
And I would respond that let's see here.
We'll keep talking to him to cover.
Well, no.
Doing their.
It would take me a while to ritually cast detect magic, and I would have to pull out my book to do so.
Well, you'd best not to.
I would respond with, "There's no subtle way for me to cast detect magic."
Determine that, perhaps.
Potentially, but my assumption is that he's part of the problem, not part of the solution. And the guy that Ishka has told us about is the problem, at least locally.
I was more asking from your experience with mind flayers and such, if you can tell without needing to resort to magic. But if that's your opinion,
All my experience with mind flayers has been with you lot.
Really?
Yeah, Pavlos, yes.
I was raised in the Arcane Brotherhood.
Now is not
Oh.
the time for this conversation.
Yeah, so we will. Should we give him a gift? I guess.
Probably not, but Old Silver will speak up and say, "Thank you, Your Honor, Your Highness. We are very grateful at your generosity and your hospitality." And Old Silver will take a bow.
He will nod and just say, "You will always be welcome in Uttaral. We take guests very seriously. Please, we have a guest longhouse. You are welcome to stay as long as you need while your crew resupply."
Did we notice any supplies actually being brought together?
You haven't specifically asked for anything yet, but you certainly could.
I assume what with it being our ruse, we would have had a list of supplies that we were
The
requesting.
standard.
Mhm.
But so Old Silver would like to add, oh yes, and our food stocks have gotten a bit low. Do you all have a ready supply of that on the island?
And Frannis will shake his head and say, "Sadly, the fish stock have been low, but there will be food if it is willed by the gods. Hopefully, any day now, the fish will return."
Well, we will try to believe that happens soon.
And he nods and just says, "Yes, we must pray to all."
Does that sound like you're saying all the gods or a name?
Roll me an insight check.
17?
He sounds like he's saying to all the gods, but he does not sound like he means it.
I was about ready to say through the telepathic bond, the gods or that chosen in the water.
Well, my question to that is it more a tone of someone who is paying lip service to other people he knows would follow the gods, or from someone who is trying to hide their allegiance to some other deity?
He sounds like he's being polite, but seeing Silver, if you're still wearing your breastplate, he will recognize you and just say, "As Krakenar, you understand."
Actually, I'm not very heavy. I think Rubel would be displaying it, though.
Rubel is not wearing the breastplate. She is wearing the electric eel armor.
Yeah, I'm wearing the electric eel armor. Why would I be wearing a breastplate?
Wait, we had breastplate?
Only those who joined the Kraken Society.
Okay.
Would you like this set of breastplate that I cannot wear, or I can wear, but it's just pointlessly heavy for my old?
And it chafes.
I mean, I think I'm wearing breastplate armor right now. Yeah, I'm currently wearing breastplate armor. I purchased it a while ago.
How is your wizard wearing medium armor?
Yes.
Because Githyanki have medium armor proficiency.
All right.
Ishka will
had heavy armor because he took a speed into it. Because dwarves start with medium.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Ishka.
She'll turn to the king and she'll ask him, what's happened with your fish stocks? I am a druid of no small renown and a daughter of the sea. Perhaps there is something I can do to help. And using the bond, she'll just kind of pass out to everybody. This might allow us to move around a little bit more freely with a little bit less suspicion.
He will just tell you the stocks are low, but if the king of the trackless depths wish it, they will return. We have displeased the consort of the bitch queen and must regain its favor. That is the only thing that will bring the fish stocks back.
So it is not a natural occurrence. It's divine retribution almost. I'm afraid my wisdom would be of no use to you. My apologies then.
I thank you for your offer, but I feel it is us who have displeased the king, and we must regain their favor.
Through the telepathic bond, I'll ask if I should mention I'm a cleric of Umberlee and if I could pray on their behalf.
No.
Okay, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
They literally said that, they had angered the consorts of the bitch queen, meaning Umberlee. And that's, yeah.
That's the thing. The thing that we're afraid of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll keep my mouth shut.
To be fair, Kraken are kind of weird in the sense of, for something that should be so powerful, they're not as powerful as they could be.
I still don't want to fight one.
Yep.
I agree.
This black robed figure that I'm seeing eavesdropping on that Ishka noticed eavesdropping. What do I notice about this person?
Slender figure. Give me a perception check if you want to do anything more than that.
P is for perception, 23.
Yeah, slender figure and, very well-made cloak, heavy black veil, looks like a mourning outfit of some sort. You see they are covered sort of head to foot and, move lightly. So you would think feminine.
Okay.
And you notice from the way the cloak sort of wafts over the stone floor, they move very lightly.
Very lightly. Around the face, do I see any bulging, perhaps? Like, say, what would happen if a long beard of perhaps tentacles were to be under there?
No, you don't spot anything like that.
Okay.
Would you like me to attempt to remove
You have
their cloak?
You have seen other creatures that transform from humanoid into other creatures, the deep scions kind of things. You guys have fought those a few times now, so humanoid features don't mean human. But you don't notice any tentacles or anything like that.
I can hide and activate it. I can use my gem of seeing on it.
Were any of the deep scions that we met in the past, were any of them affiliated with Slarkanel?
Yes, the first ones you guys met who died drowning on the ship's deck when they attempted to steal the shield at first were part of Slarkathel, and you met a deep scion at the meeting of the Kraken Society, who's the one who told you about the odd goings on here at the Purple Rocks and the lack of fish stocks.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So with that, you are escorted out of the castle back down into Vilkstead itself, and you are brought back through this town. Ishka, with your passive perception, you do notice there is a shadowed sort of grove of pine trees that seems to have a rotting antiquarian temple inside it. But you are brought to the guest house. You are, shown inside. There's a mixture of sort of men who are eating what appears to be a foul-smelling sort of fish stew, smoking their pipes. You are shown your rooms at the far end.
What if we say, we were planning on actually sleeping in our ship? It's strange to go back to land for sleeping after so long.
They will sort of shrug their shoulders and look disappointed that you refuse their offer of generosity, but they will not force you to stay.
In the bond, we need to be able to sneak out, and sneaking out of the ship is much easier than sneaking out of here.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
They will tell you, we will get your supplies ready. It will take a couple of hours. Please do as you wish, but do not leave Vilkstead. And this, this longhouse, it's sort of moldering. You see the ceiling is sort of white and furred with mildew. And, you can hear sort of the muted conversations of the Rocklanders around you. And they're in this, again, sort of malign, sort of vernacular deep speech that sounds like a drowned man coughing up seawater. So give me an intelligence check, Scrapheap, if you want to be able to understand their conversation, since you can understand deep speech now.
Oh,
Or anyone else who speaks deep speech can attempt to understand this.
Is that in any way related to Giant, perhaps?
Nope.
Yeah, okay.
I am going to re-up the telepathic bond.
All right.
You said intelligence, right?
Yes.
Oh boy, this is gonna be.
Just because I assume we're coming up on the hour mark, so
Yeah.
best to do it.
Yeah, you cannot understand the conversation they are speaking. You recognize the language, but this odd way that they are conversing, you can't pick out any particular words beyond festival.
So they're talking to Newfie?
Pretty much.
Hey there, bye.
So-
Wait. So what you're saying is we came to town and they're talking about a festival.
And am I able to tell what kind of
God
inflection
damn
they
it.
have? Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. It's just I've noticed a pattern. Go ahead.
No, my question was basically the inflection of their tone when they're saying festival. Is it jovial? Is it pissed off?
It is not jovial. Actually, give me an insight check.
Oh boy.
Can we help through the bond? Never mind.
You get the understanding that they are having a very sad conversation about this. And it sounds like something that is, whatever it is not something they are looking forward to. And I will say you don't get the sense that you come up in this conversation at all.
Oh boy.
Okay, I have a bad thought about this. So coming in, accounting for most of the individuals in town hiding, did it look like an undue amount of the town's population were non-existent?
Give me an insight check. Hard to tell what the numbers are here, but none of you have picked up children or a lot of women. It's all been just sort of men who are young or middle-aged. No seniors, no, it seems a very limited population.
So, given the fact that they're devoid of food and they have this festival, I'm loath to believe that they might be drawing lots to see who takes part in a sacrifice or becomes dinner for the next day. And they probably started with the least productive members of their society.
That would mean children and women.
Children and the elderly.
You need to save. You have to preserve the women in order to not die as a society.
Yeah, but you
Cutting
can
out all of your children.
you can choose for a year to have no children and instead eat them all, and then once you're past this famine, repopulate.
I mean, you could just pull out, but need to eat the children. I mean, seriously.
I mean,
Well, no, because they're not productive members of a society. It in the animal kingdom, this happens.
They're also the ones who will die first if there is starvation, so you're
Yeah.
more likely to eat them.
Yeah,
Well-
so it is a act of mercy and self-preservation.
In our
Ugh.
world, we call it the Russian problem.
okay. So
Ew, no.
No, it happened.
I'm not knocking Doris's thoughts over here, but that's a hell of a leap to go into.
It is, but
Fairness,
there's
that's what I
enough
was thinking.
circumstantial evidence to make me postulate it. I don't necessarily believe it is actually happening, but I wouldn't be surprised if we find out it is.
I'd like to try it out one way. It's not going to be anything obvious or too malignant. I would reach into my bag and pull out a ration. For some reason, I'm carrying a ration, yes.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I don't eat food.
Oh, that is true.
It just came with the Explorer pack. Okay, I'm just metagaming right now. Okay, so I'm pull out a ration, and I slowly start waving it around. I don't know if the people recognize what I'm holding as a ration. What is their reaction?
It's not even sort of subtle. They all are just kind of watching you as you do this. Their eyes just kind of tracking the food.
So they know it's food. Any sign of drooling?
No sign of drooling, but clearly interested in. And Ishka, I will say you hear the rumbling of stomachs.
Scrappy plays a dangerous game.
Even more so, considering we were talking about having to restock our foods.
In for a bronze, in for a gold. It doesn't translate.
And one of these, men sort of stands up and comes over to you, Scrap Heap, and draws out a, what looks like a bone-handled knife and offers it up to you for some of your rations.
I get it.
It traded for information.
I get it. I walk over to him, and I just wave the ration in front of him. How about information for this?
He just sort of spits and turns and walks out angrily.
Okay, information is out of the question here.
I wonder if they're
Wait, I
either
don't-
sacrificing the old men or their elderly in general, or eating them themselves.
Strange that one who is starving
Maybe
turned down the offer of food.
When it's waved around, it's almost like he's being teased. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did a dick move. That's a dick move. So
I will cast Goodberry.
Good idea.
and I will have 10 berries, and I will offer them, and I'll just like, it's not much, but we'll share what we have for a few stories and tales of your land.
Goodberry reminds me of Chrono Trigger. Your energy has been restored, but you're still hungry.
You're still hungry.
Give me a persuasion check, Ishka.
Well,
You don't
it says it should, sustain them for one day, so I'm hoping for one day they won't be hungry.
Well,
kinda what I'm
it's one of
hoping
those things
for.
that it's still a berry, so it's not filling, but it gives you all the nutrients you need for the day.
So
Oh
what
my
you're saying is
god.
we've
I'm
landed
going to
at some-
guidance myself if I can.
I mean,
Damn.
I look over at Nidoros. You don't happen to have Lembos bread there, would you?
Yeah, you offer the berries around, but the group here, having seen how Scrapheap's sort of behaving, all just kind of shake their head at you, even though you can easily tell that most of them would love to take some.
Ooh.
Fantastic.
So
Please, friends, don't refuse on the account of our heartless automaton. Please enjoy these gifts of food, and we will sit and enjoy your hospitality, and we can talk some more. A little better.
Yeah, they look, most of them, look to one of the sort of elder men, and they look at you and just say, that food is a nice offer, but if we cannot share with everyone, we should not accept it.
Yeah, I can't.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just checking. I can make 40 good berries, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
I thought Rubel had casting, creative feast, a banquet. What was that spell?
I don't have. No, I don't have that. I don't have Create Feast.
Oh,
Create food and water.
I have Create Water, but not Create Food and Water.
I mean, we can
Same.
almost everyone here creates water. I mean, they need something a little bit more.
It's
sustainable.
typically not worth the the spell. Like all my spells are either healing or damage. With 1 or 2 utility, yeah. I mean, we can wait 24 hours and then I can prepare it, but that's 24 hours from now.
I left my kitchen utensils back on the ship. Crap.
Also, we need a chalice worth $1,000, I think, to do the Heroes
Well, that's
Feast.
Heroes Feast.
Oh yeah, that's Heroes Feast. If you wanted Heroes Feast.
Well, Heroes Feast, is not enough to feed everybody.
Yeah, I think it's only like
But
10
when he
people.
You
says-
could feed the party.
Heroes
Well, he
Feast is 10 people. Create Food and Water is like 10, is like, what, 10 pounds per person or something like that? It's insane at what you get.
Yeah, it's like 30 pounds of food, so it can feed quite a few people.
45 pounds of food and 30 gallons.
It can
of water.
sustain up to 15
45,
humanoids
wow.
or 5 steeds for 24 hours.
The food is
Like-
bland but nourishing, but I don't think these people would be complaining about the taste.
But
You can put salt on it.
All right, well, if he's
But
not
we
taking
can't
it,
cast
Ishka
it.
will just nod in understanding and just, tuck it away into a pouch.
Do these people are these people starting to look at us like resentfully now?
Probably.
A couple of them are, but not all of them. Some of them, just sort of, you hear them just kind of laugh or scoff, like it's what they would expect. But yeah, it's not an unfriendly environment, but it's certainly chilled from when you first arrived.
Okay,
Scrappy-
so it's not like
Scrappy
these
feels
guys are
really
up.
bad.
Okay, I'm done.
you should.
So you guys have the afternoon to yourselves in the village of Vilkstead. Is there anywhere you would like to go? You have seen these, stone shrines in the city. You've caught sight of the old temple just off in the woods. There is a long sort of stretch of black sandy beach that you saw as your ships landed.
Montauk.
Hmm.
I have an idea, and it's probably foolish.
It often is.
I'm going to try touching one of these stones that they're praying to in the same way that they do. Please make sure I don't die or become possessed.
Is it an oily black stone, or does it have a visage like that shield?
And I'm trying to
Montauk
while
will
this
do
guy
what he can.
looking away. Just sort of like mosey around, wait for him to not be looking, and then touch it.
All right, yeah, you can go up and you've seen people as they walk by will put a couple of hands on it. As you do so, give me a charisma saving throw, please.
And not be charmed. I should have brought Scrap Heap with me.
You should have.
9.
You lay your hands on it, and it is cool to the touch. But as you place your hand on it, you are overwhelmed by terrifying hallucinations of enveloping oily waves from the Tartarian depths, filled with tentacles belonging to unknown horrors. And this absolutely floods your mind. And roll me percentile dice, please.
Do I see Old Silver tense up when he does this?
Yes, it looks like he's had an electric shock almost.
I grab his wrist and I pull it off the stone.
All right. You are pulled off, but you still have these visions that sort of follow you around, and you can't quite clear your head, Silver. You turn and look at Montauk, and you see tentacles sort of sprouting where his arms are, and some of the other people walking around, just this oil sort of dripping out of their eyes and leaking down their faces like blackened tears. And you have disadvantage on all your ability checks.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
You mean Umbriel?
Like, still continuing? Like,
Yes, continuing.
I mean, not like the vision, not just the disadvantage.
Disadvantage. You still have the visions too. They, you sort of blink hard and they disappear, but then they'll sort of rear up like a bad LSD trip every once in a while, sort of out of your control.
All right. Yeah, I look into Silver's eyes. Does it look like he's like freaking out?
Every once in a while, it definitely does. And then he sort of calms himself and, everything clears. But yeah, for the next while, you're going to be having these visions and disadvantage on your ability checks, Old Silver.
Rubel, Scrap Heap, here, now.
Yes, I'm right here.
Scrap Heap has wandered around town and is using his comprehend languages to listen in on people talking. Give me another intelligence check if you want to try and pick up more of this conversation, Scrap Heap.
Yes.
With that, you understand a smattering more of the discussion. You hear, as you are moving through town down by the docks, a couple of people are talking about how the elders are meeting later tonight for the festival that is going to take place out at one of the outcroppings overlooking the ocean. And the festival will occur.
Is the telepathy still active?
Yeah, it hasn't been an hour.
Oh, sorry. I meant the telepathy from Nindoris. Is that the one?
Yeah. It lasts an hour. It's still up.
Okay.
And I re-upped it, so it's almost a full hour,
Awesome. So I passed that message along to everyone still connected.
which is everyone.
I mean, which is everyone. Yeah.
And so Ishka and Nithdoris, you head off to this old temple. And it's a short walk from the center of the village into this shadowed grove of tall pine trees. And there you find a rotting, antiquated temple, many-tiered, sort of gabled roof with thick wooden pillars stained a deep, dark red hue. The trail leading up to it is cleared of vegetation, but you get the sense that nobody has visited this place in quite some time.
Is it still within the realm of the town itself so that we're not disobeying their request?
Yes, it's just
Okay.
in a sort of grove, but it is still within the town proper.
Yeah. Okay. Tara's not here currently.
She's just stepped away, so.
Yeah.
Pavo's heading to check out that beach.
Also, I
All
get
right.
that message from Bontuck about, meet up where he is, so I rush over also.
All right.
Gathering all the info.
Okay, so you head over to see them.
Montauk holds up 3 fingers in front of Old Silver. How many tentacles does Old Silver see? I didn't hear that answer.
7.
Oh. Montauk looks at his 3 fingers. Even if seeing double, Montauk does not see how you could get 7.
You get more tentacles per hand than finger.
Oh.
All right, so Nithdoris and Ishka, you have made your way to this old wooden, many-tiered, gabled roof temple, following this path. And as I said, this path is cleared of vegetation, but it does not seem like anybody's been here in quite some time.
Mm.
And as the wind sort of gusts and blows through here, you can hear it moans almost like a wounded animal as it finds its way through the cracks and holes in this building.
Nithdoris, do you have Minerva?
I probably would have had the ability to take some party funds to top up my gold to be able to recast her. So if everyone was okay with me taking 7 gold to do so, I would have Minerva on hand and be able to pop her into existence, because their use is kind of limited once you get higher up in level.
Oh yeah, and you would have plenty of time to have done this on your voyage.
Yeah, so in that case then, yeah, I will pop out my Owl Familiar.
I was going to ask if you maybe wanted to send her up, because I mean, with how old this building is, there might be. I'm not asking her to go in, but if she can find like a hole in the roof to perch on and like look down and just kind of see what's in there before we head in.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
All right, yeah, she flies upwards, and there are definitely cracks and small holes in the wall. And you know, looking through her eyes, see an empty space inside. You know, you don't see broken furniture, you don't see pews or anything like that, but this is clearly a temple, though you do see a large, shadowed, like cloaked statue in the center of the main room, and that appears to be the only thing left in this temple.
Okay.
Like, it looks like it's a statue that's had like a large sailcloth kind of draped across it.
In my experience, and I will also ask this of the group's character's experience, is it normal to have a temple that is devoted to any god be closed down like this and have a drapery basically run over the statue of whatever deity is being worshipped?
Eh? I mean, for all I know, this could be a part of their. As a player, no bueno. Dark gods, bad juju. But as a character, I just kind of shrug and just be like, we don't know. We can suspect they're gods, but we don't truly know who they worship beforehand. It could be that since the Illithids have come in, they've covered their face of their old god until they can come back to it, or their god could be covered all the time for all we know.
What if it's the sheet god?
That too.
Yeah. So before we open this thing up, I want to see if Minerva can see any sort of signs that potentially opening this door would cause harm to us.
How would you like to do that?
I assume that is it much like a church where it's a large open, airy hallway, basically? Or
Yes.
Okay, so she should be able to fly in and survey the door to see if there's any sort of instabilities or traps or magical seals that we cannot see from our current viewpoint. Assuming that at the same time, the other side can be viewed at and determine that there's nothing on that side as well.
Give me an investigation check.
Oh, boy.
I mean, you can also do this, looking through Minerva's eyes as well.
So it would be my role using her senses.
Yes.
So it's my skill point. I will do that because I am good at investigation and she is not.
Yeah, and because you are literally, staring through her eyes and, flying through.
I'm piggybacking. I rolled a 2, guys.
Holy shit, dude.
The building appears solid. You don't see anything that would make you think it's going to collapse imminently, but you don't see any signs of magic on the door or traps or anything like that.
Is there a lock?
No.
I will look to Ishka and say, you want to go in?
Let's do this.
We open the doors.
And pushing open the doors, you see in front of you, the floor is sort of pitted. There's areas where it's got holes in it. But again, it is empty. There's no furniture. It looks like everything has been cleared out. There are these large red stained wooden pillars. And then this massive 14-foot statue in the center of this room that has clearly been covered by what looks like a sailcloth, but it's now sort of covered in fungus, and it's got some bird droppings and things on it.
I will conjure my invisible mage hand and send it towards the sail and use it to slowly, I'm assuming, pull the sail off of the statue.
Yeah, you can slowly sort of pull it off, and as it is drawn away, it reveals a wooden statue beneath it. It's that of a broad, muscular Northman whose arms have been mutated into writhing tentacles of a singularly unholy quality. Where this wood is cracked with age, you see a pestilent, pallid fungi has encroached, filling the spaces with globular, sucker-like growths. And this malformed man towers to a height of about 14 feet, but the sight of it is just so disturbing and shocking to you. I need both of you to give me a charisma saving throw, please.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Holy jeez, I actually rolled decently on that one.
Nice. Ishka, roll me percentile dice, please.
Oh, I'm a drooling idiot now, aren't I?
Remember, I have greater restoration prepared.
Can we?
It could be one of the ones that only lasts for like 10 minutes and isn't that bad.
Can we not all
Ishka
go
is
insane?
stunned from this. Like, it just overwhelms you, and yeah, like the vision just sort of racks through you. And
I'm going to restore the sail back to how it was.
all right, you use your mage hand to cover it up, and as you do so, as it is pulled up, you do notice there is a corpse down on the front plinth that, as you pulled the sail down, it had covered up, but now lifting it back up, you see parts of this human body lying at the feet of this statue.
When you say corpse, how old is it? Like, is it fresh in the sense that it hasn't started to decay? There's no scent prevailing in the area, or is it like it has been here so long it's actually sort of mummified or something like that? Like,
well, I mean, as you stand in the door and sort of even get closer, you do get this overwhelming sort of charnel stench. But give me a perception check from where you are.
Yeah, 24.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you're a ways away, but you can tell this body looks bloated and sort of webbed and covered with blackened veins.
I
And
closed
you
the
can
doors.
see it is clutching what appears to be a jade scroll case in a rigor mortis fist.
Okay. Damn.
Temptation.
Okay. No. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close the door because I fear there's arachnids about. And I'm going to send Minerva in to try and free the spell scroll and take it through the hole in the roof.
Some good pet owner you are.
All right.
She can come back later if I need her to. I can't.
Here's where we discover that the corpse is actually a zombie.
Yeah, no, you send Minerva in, and easily enough they are able to... actually, it's a rigor mortis fist, so give me a strength check of Minerva as she tries to pull this out of the corpse's hand. With a 15, easily enough done.
And then she flies away. Actually, yeah, no, she flies away up through the hole in the roof, comes around, and will land next to me, putting it on the ground. And then I will cast Detect Magic ritually.
Yep, you cast Detect Magic. You know, you sit for 10 minutes and, you know, staring at this scroll case. No sense of magic pervades. But
Okay.
as you finish casting this ritual and that sense comes over you, one second.
I had closed the doors, so
Yep.
I have a moment for that.
All right. Are you sitting down on the ground? Are you staying on the stairs here?
So I probably would have pulled Ishka, down onto the pathway about here, and then sort of sat down with Minerva on overlook, ready to hoot if something pops up.
All right.
Yeah, so I would not leave Ishka standing next to a potential point of attack. And then I would sit down and conduct my ritual.
All right. And as you finish conducting this ritual, you see a puddle has almost formed around Ishka and then just sort of wrapped up around her before you even realize. And with a critical hit on Ishka, and you guys are surprised by this as it slithers up to you.
Oh,
It
it's
is
one of
in-
these.
It is in Ishka's space, wraps around her, and you take 8 whole bludgeoning damage from this.
On a critical
Ugh.
hit.
Yeah. And you see she is grappled and restrained and unable to breathe, except that you can breathe water. So you can actually breathe just fine as this creature tries to drown you on dry land, Ishka, and is not going to be able to. But with that, let's roll initiative.
Woo!
Like, do we even have to worry about this? I mean, I guess we probably should.
We're not there.
It's a okay. I, as a player, know this is a slithering tracker. I believe so.
Yes.
I'm
Hunter
assuming
Seeker?
that I'm just going to be sitting there, but I still rolled initiative just in case.
Yep.
Well,
Should the
how
rest
long
of
is
us
she
bother?
stunned for?
5 minutes. So
Oh, then-
you've been casting
Yeah.
this spell. So Ishka, you are going to come out of this at the top of the next round.
Perfect.
Okay, so should the rest of us even bother or no?
That is up to Nithdoris.
Yeah, I will. I will inform everyone that there is a hostile water creature attacking Ishka and myself.
All right, I'm on the case.
Yeah.
Now,
so,
whether they will get here in time before we finish it off or not, I don't know.
How many rounds? Or is it like a 10-minute walk?
it'd be a few minute walks. Yeah, you guys won't get here probably before this is over.
Okay. All right, continue.
All right. So Ishka, start of your turn. You take 12 necrotic damage.
Oh, okay, that's actually worrying.
You are stunned. Slithering Tracker will slam in again. That is another critical hit for 13 bludgeoning damage. And that takes us to Nithdoris.
All right. I am going to do something that is very, very counterintuitive right now.
Gonna run away.
No, well, actually, no, I'm not going to run away. So Minerva is going to fly in, get it, basically, somewhat level, get the help action, and then go straight up. So she's going to be like, 40-ish feet up in the air. And then I'm going to cast Shocking Grasp with advantage on this thing.
All right.
That's an 18 hit
Hits.
for 15 damage. Nice.
Yep. Yeah, you grab it, and there is an electric shock that goes through it. Ishka, you take 7 lightning damage.
Mhm. All right, then.
I didn't know if that would happen or not. However, it cannot take reactions. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to stay where I am and urge Ishka to run from this thing. And then
You see
end my
she is...
turn.
All right, she is currently grappled and restrained by it. Ishka, you are no longer stunned, but at the start of your turn, you take another 20 necrotic damage.
Jesus.
What would you like to do? So yeah, you are
Hey.
grappled and restrained and would be unable to breathe except you can breathe water.
I am not grappled or restrained because I am misty stepping the fuck out of here.
All right.
So I'm running back towards the village. So I'm technically like 15 feet off the map. I was
Okay.
like, the doors. I don't know what's happening, but let's get out of here. Oh, that was my bonus action. I'm not going to use my regular movement because I don't want to get too far away from Nithdoris in case he needs my help. I'm going to try Acid Splash.
That is an 18. It
Ugh.
manages to splat down on the ground as you throw this globule of acid, and it gets out of the way.
That's all I can do.
All right. It will then slither quickly away back underneath the building and disappear.
I will strike out at it, assuming it doesn't have an ability to avoid that.
Nope. Go right ahead.
Where is my sword?
Oh, wait. Did you step away, though?
No, I was considering it and then chose not to.
All right. Yeah. You get an attack of opportunity.
That is a
Ooh, that
20.
hits for 8 slashing damage. You slice through this ooze, and you can see part of it does separate off and sort of liquefy into the ground, but it does manage to slither its way back inside this old temple. But you have this jade.
I will pick it up, and I will move 30 feet to where Ishka is.
All right, so you guys are
keeping an eye out.
Yeah, you are leaving the path, heading back into the village, and that is where we will pick up next week.
And I will then telepathically communicate with the party saying, we've escaped the creature, but Ishka's hurt.
Running.
Do not pull a pavo.
I have the good berries. I'm okay. So I'm like munching the good berries as we're heading back.
Yeah, we're communicating that we have left the temple, and I'm going to glance at the spell scroll to see if I can decipher what spell it might be.
It is not, in fact, a spell. You realize that inside it is a picture of a high-pillared iron grate. Each pillar is topped with a strange statue, a loathsome creature of singular character whose cephalopodic nature is betrayed by the presence of leathery, bat-like wings and a crouched humanoid frame.
So
I will show you the image next week.
It's a humanoid. It's Batman with face tentacles.
Yeah, and it looks like it is a sort of a large gate.
Oh, joy! This is some eldritch horror.
So it's a half man, half octopus, half bat?
Is it Cthulhu? It's Cthulhu, isn't it?
Not quite.
Okay, good.
It's Bat Cthulhu.
It's this. That's what you see.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Those are Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah. That's not scary at all.
I wonder. I wonder how these demi Cthulhus, these were Cthulhus, respond to lasers.
Better than most
Poorly.
things respond.
All right. With that, I will turn off the stream. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.